Hi friends, welcome to Arnav. So today it is the 62nd episode in the activity series. So yeah, today we're going to explore not exactly explore. So today we're going to make an empire or like an alternate history for my own country, India. So like here we are using a website in Google called Mapchart. You can see the link here. So inside this map chart there are like many charts or slash maps where we can edit them to show any details or like any information like those. And we can also do some alternate history and some fun. And I'm going to do the second option. So today we're going to make an empire for India. Because why not? I'm from there. Okay. So yeah. So here is the country of India. So the present day things will also be different. So yeah, let's start. So first let's select our palette color. So as we know it today, there's the country of India. But instead of in 1947, it got its independence after, guess it, 1918, after the World Wars. Because Britain can't even, how can we call it? Can't support all of this colony of India and let India and Pakistan be free from their colonial wrath. So here, okay. So here is India, and then next let's take Pakistan in this color. Next, Pakistan. Here is Pakistan. It has Kashmir regions as well as Bengal. And the Sikhs also have another region. So the Sikhs are another independent religion of sorts. Yes. So we take a lighter orange. And here are the Sikhs in the middle in Punjab. And finally, yeah. So here is what came out of the British Raj after independence. By the time Myanmar was a separate colony. Okay, so here was the British Raj after it got its independence. So yeah, so first Pakistan's capital is Karachi, India's capital is Delhi. Next Punjab's capital is Lahore, I think. Yeah. So Bangladesh is also presently part of Pakistan, because when they got independence in real life also they were part of Pakistan. Yes. So yeah, they got their independence. So then what will happen? So then Bhutan and Nepal will also get full independence. Before that they were like protectorates. So now another color. So here Bhutan and Nepal were very much supported by the Indians, and they became like a military. They both are in military. India gives military, provides the military for both of Nepal as well as Bhutan. So if Bhutan or Nepal were to get invaded, India will also support them in the invasion. Yes, in the war. Yeah. Okay. So here is India. Here is Nepal and Bhutan. Both of them are under the military control of India. Not exactly military control, but have military aid from India. Yes. So then in East Bengal, which is present-day Bangladesh, they won their independence, and by a lot of independence. So now a civil war happens. India supports the Pakistanis. They go. So the Indians take all of the Indians and the Bangladeshis occupy all of present-day Bangladesh and even go a bit into Kashmir. So now Bangladesh gets its independence, and now we need to use another color for Bangladesh. Here is now the new country of Bangladesh, which was founded on 28. Yes. So the war started on 1927 and finally ended in 1928. Yeah. So next some years later, 1933, you know what happens, Hitler comes to power, and then some more years, 1939, what happened, World War II. So by this time Pakistan has converted into mostly a fascist power, supporting the Axis powers presently, while India stays just as normal, while Bangladesh is just completely neutral in these wars. Yes. So when the war starts, Pakistan right away joins the fascist nations, the Axis. Next, India takes 1 year and finally joins in 1940. By this time, many things are already happening in the mainland, like France being occupied and and the Germans being ready to attack the Soviet Union. So then the war in India starts. So in the Indian subcontinent, while the Sikh country is also again neutral. Yes. So for the occupations, okay. So first the Indians go into Kashmir, into just attack into Kashmir, this region. So let's use a color for that occupation. Okay. So India attacks Kashmir and takes all of it in within many weeks because it's all hills. Meanwhile, the occupation is happening. The Pakistanis go into present-day Gujarat, which is also there, Gujarat only. So next, the war is still happening. By this time, it's 1941. Okay. Wait a second. Why is this happening? So, 1 minute. There's one small problem here. Completely white. Okay, tools. Okay, these countries are not even involved in the war. Okay, so remove all of these. That was just a small mistake, don't mind about it. Yeah, okay. Now we're back into the war. By this time it's already 1940. I'm won. So now, okay. Wait, just selecting a color. Wait a second, please. Okay. Now, the Pakistans tried to invade into Bombay state, but they failed. Okay. So then, the Indians push with the help of now the Sikhs also joined the war because inside Lahore, the capital of the Sikh state, how can you say it? So an explosion happened in a lab. So many Pakistani people were there, many Pakistani scientists who wanted to study in a good country or a good city. And Lahore had many good education centers for scientists by the time. Yes. So not that much, but still pretty good area. So Pakistan, many people of the Sikh government thought that the Pakistani government conspirated to attack them secretly by sending some students to just bomb the region area. So then they also joined the war, but not fully because they are still supporting, not fully in the war yet. Okay. Now, okay. So let's put Punjab as an occupation area for some time. So now the Indians take over all of Kashmir and go into the Sindh regions. Now the Pakistani army in Gujarat is completely surrounded and they surrender finally. So by this time it is all again 1942, another year passed by. Next, Gujarat is taken over by the Indians, and then a large counterattack into Pakistan is pushed. They take over the Peshawar regions, Quetta regions, and finally Balochistan, which has Karachi, stays back. And finally, then the Pakistanis surrender, and the Indians just occupy the region finally. So now, the Indians took over all of Pakistan / occupied up to now. Yes. So next, wait. Okay. So now the Sikhs also joined joined the Indian Union. Okay, so now, so there was a referendum to join the India. So then many people of the Sikh nation, you know what happened? They joined India. That region is Punjab, by the way. Okay. So then after the World Wars, 1945 and the World War finally ended. Now Kashmir and Northern Kashmir as well as the Peshawar region are annexed into Greater India. Now Pakistan is back and now very sad because it literally lost a whole war to its main rival, and now they're mainly just the region of Baluchistan. Okay, so next it's now 1949. Okay, so now in the Tibetan region, so the Tibet regions and the Indian subcontinent nations just what happened. So they trade a lot between each other. So then in 1948 the times and the civil war in China happens, 1950s. So they attack China and Tibet. So next, now by this time they are communist Chinese. Yes. So now we just color in all of the provinces of China. This should be fun. Taiwan was still separate. Please hold on, please hold your horses because it will take a time. Okay, now to Xinjiang area. Just clicking for an hour. Okay, we're almost done. Please, do it fast. Do it first. Wait. No paint. Okay. So this is China. By this point, they didn't have the region of Tibet, as you know it, because I just said it earlier. So let's take Tibet as a light color because it's just mountainy. So this is the country of Tibet. So now the Indians are supporting the Tibetans in the war between the Chinese. So now the Indians also now declare war on China. So by this time the Chinese already occupied a small amount of Tibet. So let's take a lighter color. So they already took over this region, Qinghai. So next, the Indian troops go on. So let's take this color let's change this color again. So into gray color of Tibet. So now the Tibetan occupation zone is also held by the Indians now. So then the Tibetans and the Indians, which I'll call now on as the allies, then go into the province of Ganzi here. And then the Chinese also move forward into the region of Nagari. Now they're pretty close to the capital city of Lhasa. Lhasa. I can't pronounce it properly. So the Allied forces push back into Nagari and push back into the main border. Then with the help of the Indians, the Chinese go back until Dari, and now they are held by the rebellions in the region of Xinjiang. So now the Chinese are in a very bad position. Meanwhile, the Tibetans are not willing to for peace. So they take this region, Yunnan, and finally the Chinese surrender after a long war. So this war took up for 3 years. Yeah. So now Tibet also has non-mountainous territories. Yeah. Now China is in a sad mood because Don't you understand? They lost more territory. Okay. So here are the communist Chinese. So next, in Burma, just like how what is happening now, large revolts are still happening. So let's take another color. So after the revolts happened, a new communist government starts, and by this time the Cold War had already started. So then the communists, so India was not aligned by this point to the Americans or the Democrats, while Burma just turned into a communist nation. So now, so the Russians, the Soviets won in this region, making Burma communist now. So because of this, another war starts from the Democratic Indians and the Communist Burmese. So because wars are not enough, there should be lots of them. Okay, so now first the Burmese just don't, with the help of the Chinese, move into Indian territory. They take over Arunachal Pradesh first and then Assam. So the 7 sister states are just captured now. So next, the Indians push into Burmese territory. So they take over Assam, but are not still gonna take over Arunachal Pradesh. Yes. So now again back to the Burmese, the Indians. So now they attacked the Mandalay area, and this was a huge chunk of the region of the country. So then the armies in Arunachal Pradesh are crushed, and they surrender and are taken as prisoners of war or POWs, because I love to call them POWs. And then now Burma was in a situation of northern and southern Burma, just like in northern and southern Vietnam. And yeah, just like the Vietnamese. So the north one was democratic under Indian rule, and southern was communist under Burmese rule. The northern was democratic and southern was, communist. Okay, so here the Mandalay province is pretty much under their own country now. So just like in northern and southern Vietnam, but in reverse. So after the war, the war ended already and was just 2 years long. By this time it's already 1954. Okay. So Mandalay. Okay. So for many years this stays just like this. So next, finally in 1960, many riots happened in Mandalay and Burma to reunite the country, but no one knows how to reunite the country. So then the Indians are back. So now, the both governments of Mandalay and Burma go to India to just settle the situation, like how in the past days, olden days, that countries go and ask another country to just resolve their disputes. Yes, and finally, not India but Tibet. So by this time, Tibet was a non-aligned nation. So the Tibetans agreed with the Mandalayans, who were democratic, and now Burma has changed again, because why not? Even though this was not Indian history, I was bored. Yeah. So next we go. Now in Nepal and Bhutan. So now Nepal and Bhutan, they are in a very large shortage. So they can't stand, and they are in very much collapse. So for help, they join India, and so Bhutan and Nepal join India, making India more bigger. And now, yeah. And the same happens in Ceylon, which finally got its independence, as Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was in hardships because they, like present day times, took large amounts of loans from China. So yeah, and they are practically doomed. They're good as dead. So the Ceylonese and Sri Lanka also had the province of Maldives under their name. So the Indians said they will repay the debt only if Sri Lanka gives the Maldives Islands, and they agree. And now India has the province of the Maldives under their name. Yeah, so great for the Indians. So next, any regions left? Okay. So next, presently they have like the British have a base here called the British Indian Ocean Territory. So now the Indians wanted to have it. In the real life time also they had it. So now after a small battle and /war with the British, they get the Indian Ocean Territory. Yes. So that was a pretty long dispute since their independence since Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka thought it was a part of the Maldives chain, but again the British thought it was a part of their colony, a colony of theirs. So yeah, and then now the Indians got this Maldives, i.e. they also got this dispute, and now they finally settled this dispute by getting this island. Yes. So next, any more regions or countries to just mess with? Okay. Sumatra is here. Sumatra. Okay. So here are the Cocos Islands. There is Mauritius and Reunion. So next, as a colony, the Indians buy the island of Christmas Island from Australia. By this time, who is completely independent. And also after a few years, they buy Cocos Islands for all of the coal and many resources inside the regions, inside the islands. Yes. So now the times are great inside India. They are now a very large sprawling economy. And now finally the Cold War has ended, 1991. And now that's very great. So China still remains as a communist country, but many revolts also start. Many of these revolts are getting secretly supported by the Indians. Yeah, including in the Xinjiang regions, in the Yan'an region, and even the Manchukuo region. So after a long war between many of these regions, in which the Indians also supported, they get their independence. So starting with Xinjiang, they get their independence as the Kingdom of Xinjiang. And then there's this situation of Mongolia, who has a region which has mostly Mongolian inside China called Inner Mongolia. This region completely. So after 3 years of war between these countries, China finally surrenders. Not 3, many more years of war. For 4 years they have been fighting long and long for the claim to get this region. And finally Mongolia got their Inner Mongolia. And now they are great. So now let's just zoom out and look at what happened over the times. So let's just turn out the borders to make it more beautiful. Turn out the borders. So now in India is very clean with many colonies here in the Indian Ocean. Next here is China, which was completely India completely ruined its life. Next Tibet, who is in its golden age, as well as the country of Mongolia. Next here is the country of Xinjiang, who is now great, prospering. Now Bangladesh also got their independence, while Pakistan is in complete chaos, just like how it is now. While presently the people, the Burmese people are fine with their situation. So yeah, this is for today about the alternate history of India.